When most people think of fitness, they think improving cardio, building muscle, and becoming stronger. But the problem is that these are gym qualities. Most of the time, they lack real-life carryover. And maybe you've experienced becoming stronger or being able to run more miles, but not necessarily feeling better in your body. I went through this phase, and what I found key to my functionality as a human is to train with a movement perspective. Not being concerned with bigger muscles or a better VO2 max, but improving the quality of my movement and the ranges that I'm comfortable in. So I put together this human movement mastery program, and it focuses on 3 aspects: crawling and ground locomotion, because that is the basic function of all animals walking this earth, including us. Upright locomotion, using the rope, because the key to our advancement as humans has been our ability to move on our feet gracefully. And basic calisthenic strength, because our ability to create force through our back, shoulders, and hips is key for a healthy, thriving body. Each one of these elements has its own day, and I recommend repeating each twice for a 6-day program. Day 1, ground locomotion. Crawling is vital in our development and can actually heal and rehabilitate serious injuries. But diving deeper into your animal movement qualities will take your body's control and proprioception to a very high level. Ape Traverse. Place your hands in front of you and to your side. Transfer weight from your legs into your hands and pull your legs forward. As you become stronger, float your feet off the ground, pushing hard through your shoulders. Hole, a move directly from capoeira. Place your hands directly to your side, reaching the far side over so both fingers face away. Slide the far leg across your body. You'll find yourself in a bear position. Then move the other leg through to exit the movement. This is essentially a cartwheel where your feet stay on the ground. Add some speed to it, but keep it smooth. Crawl switch. Begin on hands and feet, chest facing the ground. Lift one arm and slide the opposite foot under your body. This will switch you to a chest-up crab position. Now reverse the motion by lifting an arm and once again taking the opposite foot under your body. As this movement becomes ingrained, start to add in crawling in a variety of ways before you perform the switch. Now, the real value in ground locomotion is learning how to transfer weight between legs and arms. Your legs will become stronger in these deep, low to the ground ranges, while your shoulders gain a very functional pushing the ground away strength. These 3 movements, amongst others, all connect to each other, and you're able to build them into flows and improvisations, working towards mastery. The sequence to master is ape to hole to crawl switch. Start with ape in one direction. Now shift the hands the other way to take you into a hole. Exiting the hole, place the far hand down and thread the same leg underneath your body. Push yourself back to a crouched position and then enter the ape headed the opposite direction. This creates an endless loop. And a bonus movement to work on is the monkey cartwheel. This is essentially a cartwheel starting from a squat. The work is to get good side flexion from your torso to enter and exit the cartwheel. Think about bending your torso and loading one shoulder first. The slower, the harder, but the more pretty. The goal is to start floating on your hands and controlling the full movement. And this goes for all these movements. We want softness and fluidity, no banging of the hands and feet. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. If you practice the individual movements a ton, you'll be able to play with them in free flow. Day 2 is upright locomotion, rope flow. Rope flow is one of the best ways to train being fluid on your feet. This was invented by David Weck to teach the spine to be integrated in your movement. It connects the feet to the torso to the hands. And good movement is anything but stiff. The rope teaches you how to use all of the parts of your body fluidly without having to think about it. So you'll need a rope to get started. A cheap $10 jump rope will do the trick, but eventually you'll want to get a rope made for rope flow. And we start with the underhand pattern. Swing the rope on one side of your body like you were dusting off the floor forward. Once you have that, switch the rope to the other side. The transfer is where we shift our weight from side to side, just like when we walk or run. When it becomes comfortable, keep the flow switching side to side. In the beginning, you'll do this mostly with your arms, but start to feel it more from the hips and torso. The arms are just connectors. Now we switch to overhand. Do the same thing, but now push the dust behind you. Overhand can feel more like throwing a punch, where underhand feels more like jogging. Once again, start on one side of your body and then switch. Once it feels good, switch from side to side. And now the fun stuff. Dragon roll. Dragon roll involves the rope hitting once on the front side of your body and then once on the back side. Think about your body being in a sideways orientation like a fencer. Start with your rope in front of you at your front foot. Now drag the rope to your back foot. Flip the rope over to the back side of your body. Then rotate your chest back to where you started and flip the rope once again. This is the dragon roll motion, and if you practice it a bunch, you'll start to see how if you speed it up, the rope will hit once in front, once behind, and keep moving in a figure 8 pattern. Now you'll have one side that feels natural and one side that doesn't. Practice on both sides. Sometimes our body can develop overuse injuries from being too dominant on one side. This is one of the huge benefits of the rope, is that we train the non-dominant pattern, bringing your movement into balance. If you need any more help with the dragon roll, I did a full tutorial on my friend Tim's Way of the Rope channel, link in description. Working towards mastery. Just like ground locomotion, the more that you ingrain the individual movements, the more you can flow with them. What I love about the rope is that you can find all types of connections with just these 3 basic patterns. Here's a challenging but very achievable sequence to work towards. Underhand to dragon roll to overhand. Begin with underhand on each side and shift your feet into that sideways orientation. As you hit the rope on the front side of your body, perform your dragon roll. Dragon roll brings you into overhand facing the opposite direction. Perform an overhand swing on each side and then bring the rope across your body and turn the opposite direction to be back in underhand. This may seem super complicated, but trust me, if you get the patterns down well, your body will intuitively find this. And our bonus movement is the double underhand and overhand. This takes the simple patterns and adds one more beat of the rope on each side. Swing the rope once on one side of your body. On the second swing, take your outside hand and reach it out and across to take you to the other side. This creates a nice rhythmic flow, and you'll find it to be quite natural as one side of your body is always leading you to the other side. Do this for both underhand and overhand. When I first picked up the rope, I did it 30 days straight because I was finding it so fun and nourishing for my body. I've heard a similar story from tons of people. Luckily, I had the Way of the Rope program called 8 Weeks to Fluidity. I started off like everyone does, way too much arms and not enough rhythm. 2, unlocking better technique, fluid movement, and tons of rope patterns. I learned this from 8 Weeks to Fluidity, which led me to this one, which eventually got me flowing like this. The great thing about the rope is it comes fast. If you do your sessions a few times per week, you'll be surprised at how fast you unlock these moves that initially looked really hard. Since doing the course, I've become good friends with Tim from Way of the Rope, and it's a brand that I'm happy StrengthSide is associated with. Tim has a genuine passion for helping people get the most out of this amazing tool. He also sources his ropes ethically, makes them at home, and sends them out to you. If you're anything like me, late 30s or up, you want to keep exploring movement, but you don't want to put a bunch of unnecessary forces or impact on your body. The rope is the ultimate tool that you can do on the back porch while you're hanging with your kids, or as a warm-up for some strength training or stretching. And there's also a Fluidity 2 course for y'all looking to take your patterns to the next level. So today, you can get 15% off all courses and ropes at wayoftherope.com, link below. Day 3, basic calisthenics strength. When taking a movement perspective, we want to become stronger, but not at the cost of too much tension in our muscles and just overall body. The key here is to not do too many exercises and to keep it simple. If we stick to push, pull, squat, we will grow stronger in the full ranges of motion and strengthen all of our big prime movers of our body. And we're big fans of using the gymnastics rings because it makes it easy to do pushing and pulling on just one inexpensive piece of equipment. The goal is to develop 5 to 10 ring pull-ups, pulling the ring towards the chest, 5 to 10 ring dips, ring close to the bicep, and 20 to 25 squats, butt to heels. So the 5 to 10 rep range accounts for individual variability. Gender, body type, age, background, these all play a role. Heavy legs, larger BMIs, narrow shoulders, all of these make upper body calisthenics harder. With that being said, you can achieve these goals. What can be key to making your pull-up and dip numbers go up is to focus on push-ups and rows. Let's say that you can do 3 pull-ups and 3 dips comfortably, but the 4th and 5th rep are iffy. Perform a few sets of 3 on pull-ups and dips, and each session add a set until you get to around 5 to 6 sets. After your pull-ups and dips, now perform push-ups in rows in the 8 to 12 rep range. This is gonna help you build strength and muscle in the appropriate areas to eventually start doing 4s on pull-ups and dips and so on. Squats are simple. Perform as many as you can with a few reps left in the tank. Then repeat it 3 times. I personally like alternating between heels down on one day and then heels up on the next. And you can add a weight in the hand for more intensity. And high rep sets of 20 to 30, heck, even 50 are great at building strength for activities that we're all doing, walking, hiking, running, while putting a lot less fatigue on your body than weighted squats. Working towards mastery. Muscle up requires control and the development of a unique range of motion, the transfer from below the rings to on top. So frankly, you could just do pull-ups and dips for your upper body and have all the capability that you need. But the muscle up offers us a chance to explore a higher level skill that takes some technique, proprioception, and consistency to achieve. You'll most likely experience some pain on this journey. Not the kind that causes injury, but the kind that makes you question if it's worth it. And generally for most people, the ring muscle up is easier than the bar muscle up. If the muscle up interests you, check out my video on the formula where I break it down in great detail. But essentially it comes down to this. Get to know what false grip is. Then practice your pull-ups with false grip. Practice the muscle up transition with your feet down. Practice the muscle up negative. If you're able to do around 8 negatives, your first rep will be waiting for you. So why specialize in just one form of training when your body has so many capabilities? This could be just what you need to motivate yourself to move and feel better. I want to give you guys some other resources besides Strength Side if you want to dive deeper into any of these individual qualities. Ground movement. Probably around 10 years ago, I did a GMB fitness course, and it was a great intro into animal and ground movement. I also got into capoeira. You could probably find a local class in your area, and it's much more than just ground movement. It's a beautiful art form with tons of culture behind it. Rope flow. Take advantage of the Strength Side discount with Way of the Rope. Also look into David Weck. Ring strength and basic calisthenics. Fitness FAQs has been one of my favorite resources on YouTube for the last 10 years. This program is completely free. You can always reference this video, but if you want the PDF that's gonna give you sets and reps and times for each exercise, use the first link below. As always,